Zoop. Ah, what have I done?
I'm equipping it now. Zoop. That's actually something I would say. We're hired. Hi, today we are watching social anxiety making Redditors act strange.
Lurking on Reddit, looking for content like I do with any spare time I have, I kept noticing the same response in the comments across different threads. Namely, backhand index pointing right emoji, smiling face with sunglasses emoji, backhand index pointing right emoji again, zoop. Sometimes it zoops left, zoops twice, zoop,
What?
dooped, and skull emoji, but always an inexplicable zoop, which I tracked back to its source, this anecdote from Actually Lava Girl. Talking to my boss after a long day of exams and assignments, I go to leave and she catches the door before I can leave to say goodbye. For some reason, my wired brain made me give her finger guns and say zoop. As I walked away, thought about the zoop. Ah, what have I done? Zoop then blew up in the sort of way it only can on Reddit.
And thus, a meme was born.
Mystery solved, I thought I'd take a look through the thread which birthed this story, which transpired to be about things done as a result of social anxiety. Went to go buy tea once. Hadn't gone to buy tea in a long time, and I hazily thought 1,000 grams of tea was a reasonable amount, forgetting that that is a kilo of tea. Went up to the front desk person and asked for my kilo. She doesn't bat an eye, starts filling the tins for me. I was too embarrassed to tell her my mistake and say no. She rings me up, cost $250. As a kid at a sleepover, I woke up early.
Imagine ordering a hecking kilo of tea. How big is that?
As a kid at a sleepover, I woke up early and panicked because I felt guilty that I was awake alone in someone else's house. Because I felt guilty, I started putting their dishes from the dishwasher into the cabinets. Then I realised how weird that seemed, so I started loading them back into the dishwasher. The parents woke up to a frazzled preteen stuffing clean dishes into their dishwasher. One time, when I was about 13, my outdoor cat went missing. Our neighbour heard us calling for it and told us he was pretty sure she was in his backyard, so my mum sent me over. My neighbour met me outside and brought me to the cat, and I immediately knew it wasn't her, because 1, she didn't have her collar, 2, the cat was differently coloured, 3, this cat was huge. For whatever reason, I didn't tell him any of this. Instead, I said, oh, yeah, that's her. I picked it up, it was growling the whole time, brought it all the way home and into my house. My mum saw the cat and was like, what the fuck? I farted right in front of my boss. Now, not necessarily related to my social anxiety, but no way in hell I'd ever admit to ripping AS in public. And I started snapping my fingers in an attempt to make it look like it was not a loud ass fart. I would be so confused if I saw someone randomly snapping their fingers and farting. Oh, hey. I once hid under a pile of blankets to avoid talking to someone I knew was coming up to my boyfriend's apartment for a few minutes.
Okay, that is actually fair.
When some Jehovah's Witnesses came to my door, I dropped to the floor and commando rolled to the kitchen. As I got to the kitchen, I realised my curtains were open and the Jehovah's Witnesses were actually watching me in open-mouthed shock, so I waved and carried on.
No way!
Climbed a tree to get away from people at an outdoor party. Yeah, I once hid under the table with the host's cat to get some space from people. It backfired when someone went to get some snacks and made a funny joke and I laughed. An Oak Hill community couple discovered a thief in their home Saturday after a man told a joke and heard a laugh upstairs.
Wait, that's real!
I've avoided socialisation so much that I've a maxed Clash of Clans account from staring at my phone in group situations.
Oh my god.
Not me, but my sister once took a shit in a paper bag because she was worried my boyfriend and I would hear her in the bathroom next to my bedroom. I was at Chipotle. Girl asked me how my day had been. I said large, please, because I got confused and thought she was asking what size I wanted. Then she asked if I wanted white rice or the other rice they had, and I said yes. Are you okay, my guy? They don't even have sizes. I was listening to a dirty song while shooting hoops at the gym. My ball bounced towards another guy on the court and he ran up and tossed it back to me. Instead of saying thanks, I said sex. He stopped playing after that. Oh boy, my stomach's sinking as I recall this. I did this twice in 1 week, by the way. I went over to my friend's house and when his dad opened the door and said welcome, I replied with yes, welcome. Someone has then kindly compared this Redditor to their department store's glitching digital message. Welcome for shopping with us. At a house I've never been, I asked the mom, do you know where the bathroom is? The other day at my small office, I went to the bathroom to fix my shirt, which I had worn inside out. When I went into the stall, the bathroom was empty. As I flipped my shirt around, someone walked into the stall next to me. I also used some toilet paper to wipe my nose a slight cold and dropped the paper in the bowl. This triggered the auto flush sensor and it flushed. My predicament began when I realised I also had to pee. But since I already used toilet paper and flushed, my twisted mind decided this would seem really weird to the person next door. Why would someone use the bathroom, flush, and then stand up and pee again?
That guy might be me.
Said no one ever, but I couldn't. They might recognise my shoes and know who I was. So instead, I hatched a clever deception. I left the stall and washed my hands to seem normal, despite the fact I haven't even used this bathroom. After drying, I walked loudly to the exit and opened the door into the hall, and then I said, "Oh, excuse me." Yeah, like I had accidentally bumped into someone else coming in and walked right back in. I made sure to change the sound of my footsteps, walking more quietly so that Stallman would think I was a different person and not some freak playing bathroom charades. Then I went to the urinal and peed and then washed my hands again using the farthest sink so he couldn't spot my shoes. He's like the James Bond of social
Holy
anxiety.
heck!
Walked past my classroom, but I didn't want to look stupid doing a 180, so I circled all the way around the building, missed it again and walked to some random restroom nearby and sat for like 5 minutes because I didn't want people to recognise me as the dude who keeps doing laps around the fucking chem lab building. See, I have a system in place if I need to turn around. I pull out my phone, I raise my eyebrows and I walk to the side and I look at my phone in surprise. I smile and look up and start speed walking. Am I overthinking it? Yes. Does it look stupid? Oh, definitely. Do I still do it? Every time.
Every
I do
time.
something similar. I pull out my phone, pretend I'm reading a text and throw my head back and let out a frustrated sigh and turn around. I used to do that. Now I put one finger up in the air, turn around and walk the other way. Zoop! When I was in school, I was writing a short story in which one of the characters tells the other, "Be careful." Someone else in the classroom sneezed and instead of saying, "Bless you," I said, "Be careful." It was 3rd grade. I had a presentation the next day that I really didn't want to do, so I took a hammer and sat in the backyard trying to break my own ankle. I just ended up bruising it. When I was in middle school, the teacher had us all read a chapter aloud to the class. Nervously awaiting my turn to read, I started to read aloud to the class while someone else was currently reading. Not only once, but 3 times. I always get so nervous. I always get so nervous. I always get so nervous. Slowly.
Oh my God.
All over and read slowly so everyone can understand. I have a last name that gets mispronounced 9 times out of 10. It's a Foss. No, it's pronounced Foss. On the first day of high school, the teacher was calling roll. I was getting nervous about my inevitable correcting I was going to have to do in this new environment. He called my name and pronounced it correctly. I was so hell-bent on correcting him that I corrected him with the wrong pronunciation of my own name. And then I had to correct myself with my own name in front of everyone. I was taking an oral Korean exam and my professor asked my name. I just stared at her with a look of horror because at that moment I forgot my name. It took about a minute of silence for me to remember. Hiya, what's your name? Zoop? I was in 3rd grade. I had a crush on this girl from my class, so when I got home I thought it would be a great idea to profess my love to her on her home phone. I think I was expecting for someone to answer to get her on the phone, but it went to voicemail, so I went with it. Hey. I love you. Cringe about it to this day, and I'm 26. One time when I was a kid, I was calling up a girl I liked to ask her if she wanted to hang out. Her mum answered the phone, and in my awkward teenage bumbling, I asked her mum if she wanted to hang out.
No heckin' way someone did that!
Yeah, I'm still not quite over that one. Nearly 10 years later, all of my friends, I was a lesbian because I was afraid of them hitting on me. I lived a complete lie. This one time, I was approached by a high school girl trying to get my contact info. I'm 22, so I started to say, "Sorry, but I'm old enough to be your dad." But that was so dumb. I changed it mid-sentence to, "Sorry, I'm old enough to be your brother." But that didn't make any sense. So what really came out of my mouth was, "Sorry, I'm old enough to be your brother's college roommate." And then we both stood there. Back in high school, I was so nervous that when accepted, I said, "Are you sure?" Told a girl I had a very good chance of hooking up with that I had diarrhea, because the thought of going home with her was making me panic. First time hanging with my middle school girlfriend, and we literally said 4 words. What was that like? Hi, me too. I went to say goodbye to a client and I extended my hand for a handshake. She extended her hand in a weird way, so I ended up kissing it. Why? At a conference in San Francisco, there was a social reception thing for all the attendees. Everyone was drinking beer and other things. Seemed like everyone had someone to talk to. I didn't feel like drinking to fit in, but someone actually came up to me to make small talk. I raised my cell phone and tried to drink from it, like it was a beer. Oh, reminds me of that app, you know. Yeah, that app always disappointed me. I want an app like...
That happened to me, but in my case, it was a pencil case. And then I acted like that I forgot my cola in another classroom, and I went out and never came back.
Asked my hairstylist what she did for a living. Asked a customer if her name was, is that Kate spelled with a Kate? Her heart. My friend's dad looks really intimidating, and he said happy birthday to me, and I said happy birthday back. I went to Subway once around Christmas, and talkie-ong to the lady making the sandwich was stressful enough, but then I paid her, and the exchange between us after haunts me to this day. Merry Christmas. You are welcome. I ran out of there so fast. Waitress asks if I need change at a restaurant. I respond with, yeah, a little bit. I deliver pizzas, and one night a woman said, God be with you. As I was walking away, and I stumbled over my words and said,
Peace be upon you.
like the feckin' pizza pope. I'm in Papal John's. Can we make Pizza Pope the next Marvel hero? Well, if you want to draw something today, there you go. My girlfriend was a server at a restaurant called Bonefish, and she was supposed to ask, have you ever dined at Bonefish? But instead she asked, have you ever boned at Dinefish?
What does she mean?
Welcome to the restaurant. What can I get you?
I'll have the cheeseburger.
And how do you like that cooked?
Scrambled. Asked for hash browns with a side of hash browns last time we went out for breakfast. I just backed away from the register at McDonald's because I misjudged the cost. Tried to remind myself what date it is while at the bar. Got my beer. She said, thank you. I said, yeah, 16th. That happened to me while counting money at work. Customer, hello. Me, nods, 11. Zoop. I told a 911 caller it was good that her grandmother wasn't breathing. I was brand new. It was my first cardiac arrest call, and what was good was that I was following the right pathway on my protocol to get her on the ground and start CPR. I was saying good more to myself than her, but when we reviewed the call, it went something like, Ma'am, listen, look at her closely and tell me if you can see or hear any breathing.
No, she's not breathing at all.
Good. I was buying a Zelda-themed wallet. Cashier asked me if I wanted a bag for it. I just stammered and said, no, I'll just equip it now. No, thanks. I'll just equip it now.
No thanks. I'm equipping it now. That's actually something I would say.
I was passing a co-worker in the hall. He says, how are you? And I mixed up fine and good and said, hey man, how's it going? Fooled. When there's music playing, like from a car or in a store at the mall or something, I have to slow or speed up my walking pace so people don't think I'm intentionally walking to the music. I get self-conscious at the speed of my window wipers. I'm always comparing to other cars so I don't look like I'm overdoing it. Hey everybody, look, this guy's windshield wipers go too fast. He's got them up medium high. A lot of times I won't use my back wipers unless I really need to because I'm afraid the people behind me will think I'm taunting them with them. I'm actually sitting here in disbelief that other people do this. I don't care what speed other people's wipers are going. Why do I think people are looking at mine? Exactly. If you take anything away from this video, let it be that in reality, nobody is judging you for any of these things. The reason being that actually, and it is a secret, we're all as fucked up as each other. Shh.
Oh my god.
Social anxiety is irrational. It can even be dangerous. When I was in 2nd or 3rd grade, I was literally choking, or couldn't breathe, or, in the cafeteria. I was so embarrassed, I pretended not to be choking. Eventually, a teacher came up talking to me about something unrelated, quickly realised I was choking when I didn't respond and gave me some odd Heimlich. I think my social anxiety of my friends knowing I was choking almost killed me. Some behaviour, though, goes beyond social anxiety to just be inexcusable head-clutching stuff. Found out I had to do a presentation in front of a few people as part of a job interview and stopped at a music store to buy a harmonica. Never played a harmonica in my life.
Why?
Hey, thanks for coming in. So I'm late. I was caught up at some social thing. So why do you want to work here? Well, you see, My technique was so bad on top of having nervous, shaky breath that I ended up playing mostly high-pitched or flat notes that had absolutely no flow. So, to get this straight, for a job interview, you tried to play an instrument for the first time in your life. I still think about this moment while laying awake at night and cringe.
You're hired.
You're hired.
Oh my god. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.